So we talk a lot about the jobs that are disappearing, the jobs that are being taken away from us by, AI and H-1B workers and shipped overseas. And this is all true. We're not going to stop talking about it and just let that happen to us. But I do want to be careful and not just peddle doom slop, because what we don't talk about, what the powers that be don't want you to know of, is that there are a pile of jobs out there that you have never even heard about. Jobs that you didn't know existed, and they're just waiting to be occupied by people here that, these jobs can't be automated. They can't be passed off to someone who can't speak English. And these jobs pay extremely well and afford people the kind of cowboy lifestyle that we were taught in school doesn't exist anymore. My job being one of them. And I'm not going to really talk about my job because I don't want this to come off as like recruity. So we're not going to talk about that very much. But I was at a business conference in Phoenix last week. And yes, the conference has very valuable information for my specific field. But when I go to these conferences, I know that the secret value is to be had at the hotel bar at like 11 at night. So that's where I went. And I was talking to a couple of guys in my industry. There was a rep from some brokerage who had the full cowboy persona, man. This guy was really projecting the image. He was shredded, baldy. He dislocated his leg earlier and just kept walking on it through the conference. And this guy was fun, but he was kind of an aggressive drunk. And he kept, for whatever reason, taking shots at some quiet guy across the bar who wasn't in our group. Now, this quiet guy, he was clearly like a Cali guy. We're all from Texas. This guy was clearly from California. He had the gel in his hair. He had a pink salmon dress shirt on. And he was just trying to watch the hockey game, man. But I noticed his watch because I'm a watch nerd. And I had to go up to him because I knew better than Baldy what a watch signifies about a person. So I go up to the California guy, sit next to him, and I ask him, I go, hey, dude, please tell me what the point of the complication on a solid gold Rolex Sky Dweller is, because I genuinely don't know. And he's like, good eye, dude. And I know this isn't the watch of a normie, and I know this isn't the watch of somebody on Epstein's client list, right? This is a weird kind of one-off watch. It's a self-made kind of choice. So we start talking, and eventually I get him to spill the beans on what he does for a living. And he told me he's over the logistical rollouts of the new machines in small shops across the southwestern region of the U.S. Now, I was drunk at this point, so I had to get him to translate. Like, what does that mean? And he broke it down like this. He basically oversees and manages the fancy coffee and hot dog machines in 7-Elevens. Okay? Now think about this. Like, who the hell would have ever in their entire life, under any circumstances, have deduced that working the glizzy machines would translate into casually wearing a watch that has a price tag north of $50,000? And it hit me. Like, this guy was the real cowboy. My loud bald buddy over there, the other bar, he was a pretender. I'm not knocking him. He's a fun guy, but he's a corporate man. He's a rep for a brokerage, right? And I don't want to harp on watches or anything too much. That's off topic, but the Sky Dweller, look up a Rolex Sky Dweller. It's not a watch any normal person would ever recognize as being something of value, right? It's kind of ugly. So that means this guy has a bigger collection. He just didn't want to get robbed. And all of these assumptions I'm building into it, which are like 99% probably true, are all from being a small part of basically a hot dog machine company. Like these jobs exist. Now it's how you find them. That's literally anybody's guess. You know, in my industry, in financial planning, most people end up here completely on accident. Like they were the landscaper of a financial planner who just, while they were talking, brought up the business and then they decided to join. Um, you know, one guy who was at the bar with us, he's from Mexico. He was a crypto bro. He rode crypto all the way to the millions down to like 300,000. And he didn't know what to do. And his parents were like, hey, you know, you're a financial guy that we're retiring. Could you quote life insurance for us? And he did some research and bada bing, bada boom. Now he's in, you know, financial planning, doing securities and whatnot. Um, so there are literally thousands of random jobs that pay absurd amounts of money that are so plain and so boring and so beneath the public school system that you could go your entire life without knowing that they ever existed. You know, every little thing you interact with, the insulation on your doors, the the cheap microphone stand I'm using right now, water bottle labels. They're all these things are tied to billions of dollars that are just circulating and transferring accounts, and everyone at every step of the process of making these stupid little things is getting anywhere from, you know, a wage to get an apartment, start a life, maybe with benefits, all the way up to like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in stock option packages. Like hell, dude, I have a client who you would think lives the divorced trailer park life. And he literally makes rubber gaskets. That's all he does. He makes and sells rubber gaskets for random machines. And he's worth like $7 million. He drives an ancient, vague Toyota minivan. It's the mid-engine one, by the way. It's not a Sienna. It's something they haven't made in like 30 years. That thing has 500,000 miles on it. You know what? Got a lot of money, got a good marriage, sells rubber gaskets. He's a gasket man. You know, so are opportunities drying up? Yes. But are they gone? Hell no, dude. Like, so think about it like this. Most of the water, like if water is money in this example, is at the source and at the end, right? That's where you're going to get the biggest accumulation of water, the lake and the ocean. And people make a lot of money near and at the ground level of making gaskets, you know, for some stupid product. And at the high end, they make money at the high end too, which is like speculative derivative contracts that are triple leveraged on the gasket company. But most of us live next to the little rivers and the streams, you know, getting what we can as it flows by. But you just got to decide where you want to be, right? Do you want to be at the ocean or at the lake? And then spend every drop of energy you have figuring out how to get there, because getting there is like half the fight, right? You got to look where you have never even thought to look before. Look at the names on 18-wheelers. Look at the ugly, gray industrial buildings on the feeder road of the highway. Look at the brand names on the cookware and the equipment of a fast food chain like Chipotle. Like, follow the river, right? Follow the river back to the source or all the way down to the ocean. Like I said, it's not even a skill thing half the time. Like, could you tell me what skill you would possibly need to preside over the coffee machines and glizzy machines in a Love's truck shop? Like, it's not skill half the time. It's just about being at the right place and having an eye for opportunity. Can you trace money back from the mundane to the source? Like, I remember getting started in financial land, and I was all excited and I was all uppity, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna work with stocks now. I'm a finance man. I'm gonna wear a suit and I'm gonna have a virtual assistant now. And on the way to work, on the way to the office, I would always see this same Rolls Royce right? We'd always end up at the same light by the McDonald's every day. And eventually I was late to work, so I got to see where the Rolls Royce goes after the commute. And it was a literal ugly ass coffee and seasoning factory. It was like a community coffee foundry. It was like something from a COD 4 map. And I was just like, shit, maybe I need to get into the bean processing industry. Maybe I'm in the wrong business. You know, money isn't always where it's shiny. Money's usually where you just never think to look. So will we all make it? No. Will we all get as much financial success as we want? Probably not. But is opportunity gone? Like, no, it's absolutely not gone. It's still there. And we don't know who is and who isn't going to make it yet, but there's still, you know, good enough odds not to call it quits. And I promise there are still reasons out there to get excited about the future. There are still life rafts to get off and save your soul from this sinking dumpster fire that we're all finding ourselves in. You just have to find them. And that's the hardest part. So take care. I'll talk to you in the next video and stay golden. Bye-bye.